pre-repo, pre-repo, pre-repo. So the car market is absolutely collapsing and delinquencies, repos are on their way up. I'm here at Carmax today because they're invested in every single part of this car market. They have tons and tons and tons of inventory that's going down in value every single day because we know that the car market has absolutely been cratering. And who is in the middle of all this? Well, it's Carmax. The reason why I want to be here is because we need to talk about all the headwinds that Carmax is facing. We're gonna go through, see some of these prices. All right, check it out. Here's our Ford Maverick siding. It's a hard thing to find on Ford dealership lots, but it seems like Carmax always has one of these Mavericks for sale. This is a 2022 Ford Maverick XL. They're selling it for $25,000. It's got 21,000 miles on it. And really, I want to dissect, okay, the new car market's bad. We've seen that from all the earnings reports from these manufacturers.
By the way, been a brutal week for the automakers' stocks.
But we also know that that is helping to crater the used car market. These dealers aren't helping anything, and really, prices have to come down. All right, so let's check out this Tacoma here. So I love the color on it, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's a 2016, and it's still $35,000. And it's got 45,000 miles on it. That's absolutely ridiculous for a used truck that's that old and has that many miles. Still $35,000. This Tahoe is $58,000. So a big portion of Carmax's customers that are coming in and getting loans, they're actually subprime borrowers. All right, so check this out. There are consumers coming to Carmax and paying 23% interest on their vehicle loans. So stuff like this, that's $60,000 for this car, they're not going to get approved. It doesn't matter if it's at Carmax, anywhere else. So the problem is that a lot of those consumers that are coming in, it's going to be very hard for them to buy something like that. And that's going to be one big headwind for Carmax, because the people who were able to buy vehicles that were $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 back 2 years ago, now they can't buy those kind of vehicles. We're seeing the higher end of the market really get squeezed because people just can't get loans for this stuff. And Carmax, if they got them sitting on their lot, that's a big headwind. And I bet anything Stellantis has really been a thorn in Carmax's side. You got Ram trucks sitting over here, you got these Jeeps over here, you got some more Cherokees down here. But because we've seen that Jeep has not been able to sell vehicles, because Ram has not been able to sell vehicles, because Stellantis as a company has been really failing, their prices have had to come down because there's an oversupply. So I really bet Carmax has hated what Stellantis has done. This one's $32,000 as a 2021. But the problem is it's not getting any better at Jeep, Dodge, Ram. So this is going to be a problem that Carmax has to deal with. It's nothing to do with them, but they have to deal with it because Jeep, Dodge, and Ram is sucking so bad that their prices have to plummet. And if that happens, then Carmax's used Stellantis products also have to plummet. All right, so let's look at this truck right here. Now this is actually a headwind for Carmax. So you see this Tundra right here. There are tons of Tundras sitting all across the market in the US right now on dealer lots. They're having a hard time at Toyota actually moving these Tundras. Yes, even Toyota, one of the most sought after brands that exist right now, they still have a problem selling these big trucks. So here's the problem for Carmax. When Carmax is selling this one, this is a 2022 Tundra SR5, they're selling it for $41,000. But here's the problem. When these new car dealerships can't sell them on their lots and they're having a hard time actually moving them, they have to push the prices down. When they push the prices down of the new Tundras on their lot, it forces the used prices of these Tundras to come down. And what does Carmax have? They have used Tundras. And this is going to be an ongoing theme for Carmax right now as new vehicles get cheaper, as dealers feel more pinched to push down prices. It's going to force Carmax to be competitive with them, so they have to lower the prices of their vehicles. So these Mazdas are super hot right now. We're seeing the Mazda selling a ton of these things, but I want to see what Carmax is trying to sell them for. So this is a 2022 Mazda CX-5. It's $23,000, and this one's got 30,000 miles on it. But we're seeing that Mazda's doing a really good job on it, and it looks like Carmax is trying to load up on them as well. All right, I always want to check 4Runners. We got 4 right here. All right, let's go rapid prices. All right, 2013 limited, $27,000, has 100,000 miles. This one doesn't have a price. I guess it's free. All right, this one's a 2023 limited, $49,000. It only wait a minute. Whoa. Okay, we got to slow down. It's only got 1,000 miles. It's a 2023, 1,000 miles. Used, barely, $49,000. So how does this happen? Well, most likely you're going to have another dealership that needed to get rid of a vehicle. They sold it to Carmax. There are a few other scenarios. You can have a customer that buys one and then shows it to Carmax. They got a good deal from the actual new car dealership and they take it to Carmax, and Carmax actually offers them more than what they paid for it from the dealership. Very rare for that situation to actually happen, but if you find something that's in high demand, 4Runners, you can argue in some areas maybe they are in high demand, some areas they're not. I know locally here around the dealerships I've been checking, the 4Runners everywhere. So that's probably not the case. I would assume this came from another dealer. They needed to get off their floor plan. They needed to roll it. It's a 2023. Maybe they had it just sitting around from last year, needed to get rid of it, so they dumped it to Carmax. That's probably what happened. If I had to guess, that's what I would say. So another thing that Carmax has done recently is actually lowered the amount of vehicles that they're buying from consumers. And it might not be Carmax's design to do that. It might be that the consumers, when they come in and get values on their cars, they might be saying no, because what Carmax has known over the last couple quarters is that the used car values are going down. So what does that lead them to do? That leads them to offer less on these cars. Wow, check this out. These 4 Land Rovers here, they look like they're brand new. Let's check it out. Not brand new. It's a 2020 Land Rover Defender, 38,000 miles, $51,000. And Carmax offering way less for these cars that are coming in really makes sense. What do we know? On the wholesale side, car values have absolutely plummeted. So why would Carmax offer a premium amount for cars that they're going to sit out here and may not be able to sell? No, they're going to try to be as smart as they can and be as cheaply in these cars as possible, because they know that they have a rough road ahead. They know it's becoming more difficult to actually sell these cars. So they have to basically steal them if they're going to buy them. All right, so I just want to show you an example of some of these prices actually coming down. This is a 2022 Dodge Charger, and they're selling it for $23,000. It's got 34,000 miles. I can tell you, I can guarantee you that about 6 months ago, this same car was going to be about $28,000, and now they're selling it for $23,000. So what Carmax has said in previous quarters is that they wanted to keep their prices high. This was by design. They worked out the pricing models, whatever. If they keep the prices higher, they actually work themselves out better than doing the volume game by slashing prices and actually selling more vehicles. But what they found out in this last quarter, okay, the quarter wasn't great, and now they've started to lower their prices. So I said this a while ago, but I didn't think that pricing model of keeping your prices high, keeping your margins high was really going to work, because the customer is just so weak. Now Carmax is figuring out they have to lower their prices to be able to move some vehicles. And I can actually already see some examples on this lot of where, okay, I can see what they were charging for these cars about 6 months ago, and now they are drastically lower. Whether they're buying them cheaper now or they're actually lowering their prices on their lot, either way, prices are coming down here at this Carmax lot. But right here, this is something that you can't find new right now, and I know because I recently tried to go find one. And I want to see the price on this, because they can still charge an outrageous amount for it. This is a 2021 Sienna Hybrid XLE, $50,000. $50,000. Well, 48. It's close enough to $50,000. And it's got 27,000 miles. And I know that we just went and looked at a new one. We would have to be put on a wait list, but we could get one brand new right at like $48,000, $49,000 for the one that we were looking at. Now we have to pay dealer fees and all that BS too. But still, that's really close to a brand new price on that Sienna. Absolutely insane. All right, check this out. I've actually never seen one of these. Here we go. It's that at $63,000. It's got 29,000 miles. I wonder if I can open it. I can't open it. This is pretty cool though. Oh, look how low that thing is. All right, now here is our EV section. So since I've been looking at a lot of these EVs lately, I actually know what the price points should be on a lot of these. So this one right here is one that I currently have, that I bought. It's a 2019 Model 3 Standard Range Plus, exact same what I have. Mine has 80,000 miles, so not too far off of this. And I paid 17,000 something for mine, and they're selling theirs for $26,000. But they've got quite a few Teslas. So what we've known, and while we've seen prices drop and why I was able to buy mine so cheaply, is because especially on the Model 3s, the used market's been absolutely hammered. So you have a couple things going on. You have Elon that's done price cut after price cut after price cut trying to get people to buy these things. And then you have Hertz, which has dumped a ton of inventory into the market over the last 6 months or so. So that's further pushed the prices down, and why I think it's the Carmax is going to have a hard time selling a lot of those Teslas, especially that one that's $26,000. Literally just because I know how much I paid for mine, and it was way cheaper than that. So I've been to Carmax a lot of times over the last year, and this is something that I haven't seen any time that I've actually been to one of these stores. And this is a big distributor store, so they take a lot of vehicles and they're able to move them out to other stores across the area. But this store is always slam packed with vehicles, and typically even on a row like this, they would have cars parked this way blocking other vehicles in. So what we've seen is that Carmax, they've been really trying to buy fewer vehicles. And it might be an element that they're just offering people less money, so people are saying no. But it's a big tell to see what's happening right now here at Carmax, because Carmax knows that that vehicle prices are going down. So really, they don't want to buy into that. Maybe they might hold off for a couple quarters and just try to steal vehicles to put out here to sell. But they're not really wanting to be in the business right now of buying a ton of cars when they know that the prices are getting hammered. We just had reports come out from all these big manufacturers saying, oh, it's bad right now. We have dealerships turning down allocations. So they know on the new car side, prices going down, and that's going to force prices on the used car side going down. They know that the environment's tough. They know that loans are going bad. So guess what? They're going to be okay. They're going to be okay leaving some empty spaces at some of these Carmax car lots. And really, I think it's a good idea for them not to be just trying to buy every vehicle that they see. They need to be selective, and they need to pay less for their cars right now. That's the way that prices come down. But they might have a couple quarters where their volume's going to be way down. But if they're going that approach and trying to keep their prices down, not buying as many vehicles, yeah, it's going to be a few hard quarters, and there's probably going to be some downward pressure on their stock. But they're probably going to be better off in the long run if they can stick to that kind of model. All right, so here's a little Lexus NX300 S Sport. I actually really like the way these things look. This one is a 2020. It's got 59,000 miles. And it's 29 grand. And I just love the way this thing looks. The front end looks bad, everything's cool, but I like these cars. Now, even right now at a Ford dealership, you're having a hard time finding a Maverick. And here's another one right here. It's funny because it seems like every time I go to a Ford dealership, I can almost never find a Maverick, but if I come to CarMax, there's always a Maverick. But here's the thing, it's getting less and less that I'm going to these Ford dealerships and not finding a Maverick. So even on the flip side of that Toyota Tundra, you still have something that's highly desirable that dealers can actually move, but they're actually getting them. So this special commodity that CarMax has been able to have over the last 6-12 months, because they always have a Maverick, they charge ridiculous prices for it because you can't find them anywhere. Now you can actually find them. So they can't charge that ridiculous amount for these Mavericks. What I have even seen is that a lot of times if it was like a Maverick, so this Maverick brand new on a dealer lot is probably somewhere around $26,000. But what I was seeing is that these Mavericks that they would have that were used, that had 20,000 miles on them or so, they weren't charging $25,000 like what this one was for. They were selling it for $32,000, and guess what? They were selling them. But this one is a 2022 XL, so just the base model. You got the base wheels, everything like that. Is 21,000 miles, and they're selling it for 25 grand. All right, this is actually something I haven't seen before, so we're gonna check it. It's a 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. It's $33,000. It's only got 9,000 miles. So what we're seeing with a lot of these EVs, especially if they're not named Tesla, is that people are getting them. They're finding out that either infrastructure is not great, maybe the technology is not as good as what they were anticipating. I'm not saying with Tesla, I'm saying with all the other manufacturers is what we're seeing a lot, and they're buying them, driving for a little bit, and like, you know what, it was fun, but it's not practical for what they're actually trying to use the car for. So we see a lot of these low mileage EVs get traded in. See a lot of Mach-E's with 5,000-6,000 miles sitting around at these lots because people they buy them, yeah, that's good, and they're ready for the next thing. All right, so here's a big problem for this car market and how the new and the used car markets kind of fight each other. So especially if you're looking at these Rams, these Dodges that a lot of these franchise dealers are trying to sell right now, they're having a very hard time. So what happens is on the new car side, they start adding incentives. They start taking money off of these brand new Rams at the dealership lot. And what does that do? Well, that pushes used car prices down. That pushes these truck prices down. So then that actually incentivizes, that makes these used trucks more enticing for a consumer. Instead of spending all that money on the new truck, then they'll come buy the used one. Well, because the used truck prices go down now that forces the new truck prices to go down some more, because now instead of buying that new truck, they're coming to buy the used truck. So now the new franchise dealers have to more further incentivize people to buy their new trucks. So then in turn, that pushes used truck prices down again, because you hear it. So it's the new and the used car side of things. They're fighting for all the same customers. So the used prices have to go really cheap to get people to not buy the new cars. And then in turn, the new cars have to go down cheaper to be able to get some of these used buyers into new vehicles. It's a whole vicious cycle, and this is what the car market used to look like. It was all a volume game. It was all low margin game. You were trying to fight for all of these customers that are out there. And over the last few years, they haven't had to do that, because there are so many customers and so few vehicles available that you can just charge whatever and customers will still buy it. We're not at that point anymore. This is what's hurting companies like Carmax and all your big three, your publicly traded company, your auto manufacturers, your franchise dealers. That is hurting everyone in the space, because pretty soon it's going to be a race to the bottom, because there's so much supply and not enough consumers to buy up the vehicles that all these dealers, including Carmax, want to get rid of right now. They're having a harder time selling these bigger trucks, and the Tacoma, this is a Tundra, also go down. What is and not enough